Hi guys, today I wanted to talk about contouring your nose so to make it look smaller if you think your nose is too big. I think that maybe you don't need a nose job if you have been thinking about it. You can learn to do a lot of awesome things with makeup by contouring, learning about shadow and light, and they can really work in your favor. So if you want to learn how to minimize your nose, maybe make it look a little smaller, shorter, not as wide, or to straighten it if you have bumps, keep watching. So the first thing you want to do is kind of look at the shape of it and decide like what you want, what is your goal, what don't you like about it, what are you trying to fix. So for me, I feel like it is just a little too wide, like right here, just super wide. I don't care about the length, it's fine, it's adequate, whatever, it's a nose. But if you want to make it smaller, what you're going to need to do is use shadow. So depending on what kind of an outcome you want, if you expect a really dramatic look change, you can use darker, more impactful colors. But if you want a very subtle look, you can use a couple of shades darker than your skin. So you could go with, let's say this is my skin color. I mean, okay, it looks super white in there, but I could go in with something kind of similar, just slightly darker. One of these, like, let's just say, light is just washing it out. Let me move the light a little. How about now? All right, well, there are two different shades here. Sorry, the light's not working with me. But basically, you want to go a couple shades darker than your skin, or you can go way more dramatic, and then you'll just blend it out if you think it's too much. So what you would start with, I'm going to use just a small little eyeshadow brush, nothing fancy. They do make special brushes. They have kits for that, like at Sephora. You can spend like $80. And then you need a color that's a little bit darker than your skin. So for me, that could be Benefit's Hoola Bronzer. It's a little darker than I am. Or you could use perhaps like a MAC eyeshadow. Maybe you could use Wedge. Sorry guys, I'm working on the lighting. I'm trying to get it so it's not washing everything out. Okay, so you could use Wedge. You could use, this is Cork. You could use, this is Omega. It's almost a little gray, but it could work. Anyway, whatever you choose to use, it's a trial and error thing. Don't do this when you're about to go out and for the first time. Try to do it, on a Sunday morning when you don't have anywhere to go right away, or Saturday morning or something. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and use this Benefit Hoola Bronzer. I'm just going to dip my brush in there. Now you can use a powder or a cream or liquid or anything that's going to give you that definition. Some people even use pencils, like to draw the line. To me, I just like something that's easy to blend, and I think powders are that. But I'm going to draw a line, basically starting from my eyebrow, and I'm going to draw that line. Hoping you can see it. Okay, so just drawing that line. And I'm going to do it on the other side as well. And then I'm going to contour the tip of my nose. Okay, so I'm going to look over to the side for just a moment because I am not that good at looking in the mirror. I mean, looking in the camera as my mirror. It's way harder to do it backwards than it is forwards. Okay, so you can't tell, I've already made a big difference. I know it's a little streaky, but I'm going to go ahead and blend that out anyway, so it doesn't matter. Move it a little closer so you can see. You see the light? It's a little darker on the sides. But when you look at it front on, my nose is more slender. Next thing I'm going to do is the tip. So I'm going to put, if I want to make my nose a little shorter, I'm just going to put some darker shadow right there on the tip of my nose. And that will cause it to recede if you want your nose a little shorter. So I'm going to go in with a little bit of a darker color because I want this to be more visible on the camera. Give me just a second. And I might not do this that dark in person, but I think that it's important that for you to be able to see what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's way darker. Is that better? All right, now I'm going to do the tip a little darker as well. And if you don't have a long nose, you can skip this step for sure, no problem. Okay, then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to carry it upward. Now you're going to take a line, like it's as if you go like this, and then you follow it to your brow bone, so just underneath your eyebrows. Just doing the same thing, and I'm kind of just blending it into my eyebrow bone. No problem. Easy. And if you have a dark eyeshadow, that's going to make it look a little bit more natural. If you go in too far, out too far, you can always blend it. We're going to blend it anyway. I wouldn't leave the house like this, don't worry. And then for me, I feel like I have like a kind of a bulbous tip. And so I'm going to straighten that out. I'm just going to put some dark powder right where I think it's too wide. You're going to be amazed. Maybe. Okay. So I know it looks crazy right now. You're probably thinking, what is she doing? All right. So now we're going to go back in and we're going to do the opposite with some light colors to highlight, and then we'll blend the two, the light and the dark, together so the line is not visible anymore. So for your light color, you can use a powder that's slightly lighter than your skin. You can use a powder that is your skin tone-ish. Now you can see the lighting's a little better. It's a little bit lighter. You can use a cream or like a concealer. You can use, if you want it intense, like a shadow stick. These are NYX Jumbo Eye Pencils. They're pretty. This one's Cottage Cheese. It's super white. But the one maybe in Yogurt, it's like a little bit more tan color. But anyway, what I'm just going to do is I'm going to take just a normal foundation brush, nothing fancy, and I'm going, or sponge. I'm going to go in the center of my nose and make that lighter. So I just did that, and then I'm going to bring some light to the side of the nose as well. So I'm just going to take it down the side. Okay. All right, so the next step is just to blend the two together. Now for this, you can use a big old fluffy brush, like a powder brush. You can use a really small brush that's clean, that's like a fluffy, and just kind of buff it out. You can use a really fluffy eyeshadow brush and pinch the tip and just kind of rub it in. I'm going to use, I think, I'm going to do a stippling brush. This is the e.l.f. Small stipple brush. And I'm just going to buff that out. Just kind of, I'm not wiping, I'm just pressing. And this has a little bit of foundation on it from when I put my makeup on, so that does help to blend the lines together. Okay, I'm not sure if you can tell, but my nose is visibly smaller. And then if you feel like you went too far in either direction, like you either contoured too much or you wiped it all out with concealer at the end, you can always repeat the steps back and forth, or remove it and start over. Until you get the hang of it, it can be kind of tricky. Maybe you don't do this for every day, but it's kind of nice to know that you could. That if you really had a problem with your nose, you could save yourself thousands of dollars in plastic surgery. So I'm going to pull the camera closer so you maybe can see what it looks like. If you can try to remember my nose before, I've just brought it in a little bit. Can you tell? Not very noticeable unless you're looking. Anyway, I hope that helped you guys. If you have any other questions, please feel free to comment below and I will try to answer them. Just know that these are just guidelines. There are tons of products you can use. You can use sparkly stuff if you're really into that. But for me, a natural, subtle approach is best for something like this because I don't want it to be noticeable for days that I don't wear it like this. I don't want them to be like, whoa, your nose is huge. Did you get stung by a bee on your nose? So I want it to be a very subtle thing. so no one knows. Get it? Anyway, I hope that helps, guys. Comment below. Thanks. Bye.